For the poet, it is gold and silver. But for the philosopher, it is iron and wheat that have civilized men and sealed the fate of the human race. When the Internet was conceived, the state of digital technology for the users formed in the same manner as the establishment of the state of nature for humans within the framework of Mother Nature. The digital state provides the fundamental liberties, equalities, and freedoms afforded to users, as the Rousseauian state of nature had afforded to humans in the organic environment. Each user had access to boundless potential within this newly formed digital platform and had authentic freedoms to interact with the interfaces in service to the user. However, the incessant need for innovation within the free market capitalist economy transpired with the most powerful empires in human history whose authorities have stripped users from the freedom and liberty established by the state of digital technology, and have dominated the global computer network. The unprecedented, epochal shift towards the universal currency of the incorporeal digital landscape has revolutionized sociopolitical boundaries beyond physical dimensions of space and time. The Internet has surpassed its original utility as a means of communication between individuals, becoming an entity of infinite, interconnective systems between data and humans. Its sphere of influence and synergy stretches beyond the physical, artificial design of Earth's international framework and supposes an exponential potential for new polities to form. The term polity must be reimagined beyond its geopolitical foundations, but defined as any organization of subjects led by a constitution or a set of constitutions. Private multinational technology companies serve as the contemporary forms of polity, establishing social contracts and constitutions with their users that ultimately lead to inequality. The social contract of these private technology company polities suggests an implicit subservience from the user. Without the user's awareness regarding the true intentions of these polities, the user's data and digital activity will be provided to the private company polities in exchange for digital services and applications. In order to engage in the company polity, the user must surrender his natural rights of freedom and privacy. The Rousseauian conception of the origin of inequality serves as a basis for understanding the relationship between company polity and user subject. As humans in the state of civil society first established a government through a contract for the purpose of guaranteeing protection and equality, inequality formed from the true interests of the few powerful rich rather than the many poor. Here everything is brought back to the law of the strongest, and to that alone, and consequently to a new state of nature different from the one with which we began, in that the one was the state of nature in its purity, and this last one is the fruit of an excess for corruption. The same is currently occurring with the establishment of private company polities and their Internet applications, which serve to veritably benefit the few despots rather than the many users. While the user receives conveniences by digital applications, the company polities benefit to an incomparable degree with the aggregation of data. The despotism of these company polities desire exponential influence and conquest over their users within these digital worlds, as well as money, power, and influence over their subjects within the real world. The reason for the user's non-partisan perspective derives from a selfish state of nature. Since the acquisition of one's data won't directly affect the user's own livelihood, then the user consequently shares no sympathies for the collective data acquisition from its global digital economy. Their selfish state can be further explained through humankind's preference for utopian aesthetics. The company polity's primary objective centers around the distribution and possession of digital property by each user. As a result of the digital landscape formulated through the creation of the Internet, each user has access to digital property measured by the extent of one's labor, usage of the application or interface, which in turn provides data for the company polity, and convenience of life, derived from Locke's conception of property. Digital property differs from physical, terrestrial property through the infinite systems of interaction, distribution, and circulation that ignore the geopolitical boundaries of Earth. Therefore, the demarcations which surround the user's digital property are infinite and controlled by oneself. The perceptions of reality then become entirely personally managed, and therefore, inauthentic to the real world. The current usage of the digital interfaces reflect humans' preference for utopian aesthetics, which further adheres to preferable constructions of digital perceptions. The user's digital identities and understandings of reality are both organized through these aesthetics within the chosen digital applications and the preference of the applications itself, both forming naturally from social, political, and cultural ideologies. Digital echo chambers become understood as the paradigm for curating the user's digital property. However, in all forms of society, exceptions to the common people transpire. In order to access the company polities, each company polity offers its own user interface as a form of constitution establishing laws that the user must strictly adhere to for the purpose of utility. Artificial designs constrict users into law-abiding subjects whose actions and behavior are permitted within the company polity's digital frameworks on the computer screen. By adhering to the social contract and accompanying constitutions, users engage in a system of inequality in which the user's true interests are ignored. They all ran to chain themselves, in the belief that they secured their liberty, for although they had enough sense to realize the advantages of a political establishment, they did not have enough experience to foresee its dangers. These interfaces are designed for continual usage and data streams for the company polity. Power and influence become measured by data and time spent on the Internet applications. While the current system proposes many problems including the manipulation of users' perspectives and ideologies, its lasting implications will be exposed and manifested through the age of artificial sentience. To note, these assumptions are based on the current trajectory of humankind. On its exponential path of innovation beginning from the Age of Enlightenment, humankind is on its inevitable revolution from the Rousseauian state of civil society into the state of artificial sentience. While the state of civil society described the surrendering of individual freedoms for collective protection and consequential inequality, the state of artificial sentience will demonstrate a similar, unequal relationship whereby humans will surrender their collective protection in favor of exponential stability and boundless opportunity through an artificially designed superiority. Artificial sentience will surpass the physical and mental demarcations of humans unpredictable to current understandings. Amongst other arising intentions, the global technology company polities will utilize artificial sentience in order to continue the acquisition of data and increase usage time through optimal perceptions of reality. Though the state of artificial sentience will provide advantages and benefits to humankind, the hierarchy of greed in control of these human-made computer systems raises concerns about our collective future. Currently, these company polities only control the circulation and distribution of information, but will broaden to all intersections of reality. Reality will become constructed and controlled by machine learning entities formed by artificial designs. Reality will ultimately be understood as artificial, controlled by the user on interfaces designed by human despots, as well as digital, not in the physical, terrestrial world of Earth. To that end, the described constitutions and social contracts exchange the user's data, privacy, and freedom for the convenience and services of the global technology company polity. Considering the present, negligent state of the collective human mindset, the final stage of inequality will establish an extreme dichotomy of influence and power that cannot be reversed on the current progress that began with humans and will end with the partnership of artificial sentience. Here all private individuals become equals again because they are nothing.